Hello, welcome. It is time for our last sprint of November, our final NaNoWriMo sprint. The end, the end is near. The end is nigh. Which one is better, nigh or near? Either way, let me know if you are doing NaNoWriMo, how you are doing a day away. I know some of you have already finished many days or weeks ago. Some of you were never doing NaNoWriMo, so it's all good. If you still are, I would love to hear how it's going. If you missed my last update, I have given up the ghost on NaNoWriMo, but I am still working on the story, still enjoying the story. And I will be working on the story tonight. And yeah, I wasn't able to actually complete the official challenge because other things got in the way, and I realized I could push and push, but that's not where I am right now. I'm not in a place of pushing. I'm in a place of like coming back and resting and like not trying to drive myself crazy. So it's fine. I've made my peace with it. The most important thing is the story and the writing and eventually getting it done. It's, I think when I first started NaNoWriMo many years ago, I don't remember the first year I tried, but it was probably like 15 years ago. I had never finished a book before. And so trying to write one during this month was like, it's always a challenge, but it was just really a thing to see if I could do. And now it's still a challenge, but yeah, as long as you finish, and even if no one ever sees this book, even if this is not the right book for the marketplace or it doesn't get to that point, it's always good to have proven to yourself that you can do it. Hello, Ms. WOC reader. So your goal was 15,000. Yeah. But 15,000 on, you're almost at 50,000 on the new ones. That's awesome. Sometimes November, yeah, life just gets in the way and it's just not the right time for to be doing this. But if you keep moving forward and like getting the habit together, getting the confidence of however many words you're getting. So that's awesome. And yeah, if I look back over the words that I wrote this month, I'm sure that if I had been counting them all, it would have been a different story, but that is not the point, or it wasn't the point for me. So I'm past the midpoint of the story that I'm working on, and I'm just chugging forward, just sort of like sometimes writing is being very workmanlike. It's just like, okay, you got one scene done. What's the next scene? Write the next scene. And that's where I'm at with the story, finding my way through. And that's where I'm at with everything I'm writing. I'm back down to 2 books at once. No more of this 3 books at once nonsense. And it feels much better. So yeah, if you would like to share, anyone else, welcome everyone who's here. And if you want to share where you are, if you're doing Nano, if you are not doing Nano, how your progress has been. And we will get started in a second. Hi, Laura. Laura says, loving nigh. I love words. And sometimes the word that comes to me the first, like in the first place, is the weird word. So I think that's just how it's like a lifetime of reading is just, yeah, I'm going to come up with like the $10 word first sometimes. All right. Opening up my plotter. Writing 2 books at once is fascinating because one day you want to write one and you're totally into the other. That's what happens to me. Especially if you're in different stages, we're just the books have different energies, and sometimes one is pulling at you more than another one, and sometimes one is a palate cleanser. Like you get stuck in one, you can move to the other, which is always nice. So, hi JC, good evening. Working on completing the scenes. Very nice. All right, I have to like refresh myself from where I am. The other thing about working on 2 books at once is if you don't work on both of them every day, or even if you do sometimes, but switching, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to switch from one to another. And I have to remind myself, I don't get confused when I'm in it, but it's just like, okay, I'm at like this blank slate and I just have to load up. What are we doing? Who are these people? Oh, okay, I got it. Because a million other things have been running through my mind since the last time I looked at this project. Alrighty. So let's load up the timer. Yeah, and if you'd like to put your goal for the first sprint in the comments, I am going to just review what I wrote last time. And I don't know if I plotted out the seed I'm supposed to write next or what's happening. I really have forgotten everything. So I'm refreshing, and then hopefully I will get most of the way through the next seed, which is starting to come back to me now that I look at my my outline. But yeah, that's my goal for the 30 minutes. And let me know what your goal is, and we will figure out if we can get some of that done. November is a weird month to do NaNoWriMo because, yeah, the holidays, it's the end of the year, there's a lot happening. You've got this Thanksgiving thing right in the middle, which always throws everybody off, whether or not you're traveling, like something's happening. And I mean, they did start Camp Nano in other months, which might be just like a better, I think April and July are those the months that April I know, and that's when is a good month to write a book though, like when do you have nothing to do? I know that sometimes there are teachers who, write books during the summer when they're off of school, and that's nice. If you have the kind of job where you have a few months off every year, then maybe that's the best time to write a book. But for the rest of us, Laura's made 28,000 words. That's about where I am approximately. So that's still good though. Are you disappointed? Are you okay with that? How are you feeling? The guy who meant the Nano picked it because he thought it wasn't busy. Trust a guy to think November's not busy, right? Yeah. You know. Yeah, exactly. Some people are just like, oh, it's a quiet month. So yeah, for them, for some people, I'm sure it's quiet. When would be a good month? Like March? Not spring break. I don't know. April. I think April is a pretty decent. It still can be spring break, maybe May. School's not over yet. So kids are in school. You're not on vacation probably. Maybe May is a better month. I don't know. Obviously, different places in the world, it's going to be very, very different. So who knows? All right. I think I have most of the applications actually open that I need to start writing. So yeah, let us get started. We will see y'all in 30 minutes, and good luck. right, y'all. How did it go? I did not get any words because I'm realizing that something is actually very wrong with the story, like the structure. And I got to the midpoint and I didn't know what the next goal was for the character. And so I have to kind of backtrack until I can figure out what her goal is. Yeah, 30 minutes can go by super fast. Hopefully that means that you were getting good work done and you were like deep in the story. That's what I find. Like, I'm not ready to stop yet. But yeah, sometimes some books come easy, some books come hard. Occasionally a book will actually come easily. Like rare, very rare, but it happens. And some books come super hard. And this one, I haven't nailed down the tone or the story or something. I don't know. Something's not quite there yet for me. So I am still working on the plot and untangling the second half of it. I like the first half. Can't quite get the second half to come together in my head so that I can keep writing it. Like I've got pieces, but they're not coalescing very well. So I'm just going to keep at the plot and the character. And then I'm looking at the world. It's the first draft, so a lot of the world building is, I've got the basics there, but I think that I have to dive into that too, just for my own sake, so that I can answer some of these questions about the motivation and then how things actually pan out. So I'm in my intellection spiral. Ms. WOC reader is also having trouble with the first draft of the second half of the fantasy. Yeah, that second half, right? What's it about second halves? My books always fall apart when I get to the midpoint, so the second half is always a struggle. And feeling you. Know how it's going to end. Getting there is the hard part. That is, yeah. Like I know the ending too. I don't know the big battle. Well, I kind of know that. I think I don't know before they get to the big battle. That's the part I'm having trouble with. But yeah, getting to the end. Sometimes, and maybe this is something I should do next, a reverse outline. That has often been helpful. Like if I know the end, what happens right before that, and right before that, and right before that. So I can like lead into it. And that actually might be a good place to go. Because I do have to keep my eye on the goal, the ending. And then in these instances, I'm thinking that, yeah, maybe working my way backwards can help me clarify her goals at the midpoint, or how the goals change. Because her goals change at the midpoint. That's the other problem. They were fine for the first half, and then stuff has happened and they have to shift and change, and I don't know if they're strong enough. So midpoint problems. Yeah, this is this nano book. Yeah, this fantasy book that doesn't want to be what I want it to be. Welcome, anime fan. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna figure it out. Thank you, Laura. I'm super excited about it. Once I crack it, usually like I struggle and struggle for a few weeks and then I crack it and then the rest goes pretty smoothly until the very end. And then I might have another little speed bump. But that's my general process. But yeah, everybody has different parts that hang them up. And if I don't have the goals together, I think the second draft of the story is going to have a slightly different tone because I'm not able to maintain the tone that I'm trying to write. It's an experiment and it has failed. So I'm just going to go back to my normal tone, which has worked for the other books just fine. All right, so second sprint, I will probably start. I'll try a reverse outline. I will try to take my own advice and see if that sheds any light on what I am doing. And hopefully I will have made some decisions, come to some clarity, had some sort of brainstorm, or be closer to one of those things by the end of the next sprint, even if it hasn't quite gotten there yet. Alrighty, so let us get started with sprint number 2. And good luck, happy writing, and I will see you on the other side. How did everybody do? Oops. I had to go back to the world building, but I feel like I'm closer. I had to make some lists of some brainstorm, some potential solutions to some problems. I started with the reverse outline and I got like 2 stages, 2 steps into it before I was like, wait, I don't know enough about the world to answer that question. So that led me into brainstorming world building stuff and doing research and making notes and slowly working on getting there. So that is par for the course for my process. It's like I start doing an outline thing, which leads to a world thing, which leads to a character thing, which leads back to the plot. But it all seems to work out in the end somewhat, somehow, some kind of way. So I do feel closer. Let me know how you did, how your sprint went. I have a lot of notes now that will eventually find its way into a plot. So tonight is our last sprint, but if you would like to, let's see, do I even have that as a thing? I was going to put a banner up, but I don't think I have it. It should be, there's a link in the description if you're not already on the announcements list, the notifications list for the write-ins, and you would like to know if we do future write-ins. Some people have asked, and I don't know exactly what the schedule will be, but if you're on that list, which is myimaginaryfriends.net/nano, I will email you when there's another sprint, or you can check YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, and you can get the notifications about when things happen. But yeah, it's been really fun sprinting with y'all. I hope you got some good words done, or whatever you were doing done, good work done in general, whether it was words or not. Not always words. Like I spent an hour making notes and plotting and thinking about things. But that's important to the writing process too, because without that, there would be no words. So I'm getting there. It'll happen eventually. I do plan to finish this draft by the end of December, and then we'll see what happens. Thank you for being here. Any advice for newbie writers? I have lots of advice. Like anything specific? I don't know. Don't get discouraged. Like writing is really hard. And if you haven't yet completed a novel, or you haven't published, or at whatever stage you are at, it's still hard. And it's easy to get discouraged. And I would just encourage you not to do that, because we're all going through this together. I've written a bunch of books and they're all hard. So, but it's like if you feel the call to write, then it's worth it, you know? And also just be really careful about advice too. That's the other thing. Like I've seen a lot of people kind of, I don't know, get turned down the wrong path, or get their spirits sort of crushed by thinking they have to do some things a certain way because, so and so successful person told them that. And we're all so different, and we're all going to just come at it very differently. So like, listen, I always like to listen to how other people do things and see if I can use that. But if I can't, I just like let it go and just immediately be like, okay, that's just not for me. Maybe one day it will be different, because we do change. Like we're all different, but we're all changing all the time too. So I can come back to that piece of advice or that technique or whatever in the future. But if it's not working, don't feel guilty about it. If you don't, any number of things that people say you have to do, if it doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. Like find the thing that works for you. Try enough things. And then when you find something that kind of works, stick with that. And then, until it doesn't, because it probably won't work forever, but enjoy it while it lasts. That is my advice. And thank you, Rachel. I'm glad that it's been helpful. It's helped me too get some extra productivity in. So I appreciate it. Any other questions before we go for the evening? Hope y'all are doing well and have a good rest of your year. The fact that December starts in 2 days feels like a personal attack to me. I don't know. I'm not ready. Not ready for December. But I guess I am sort of ready for 2024. I like new years. I like new starts. And I'm planning like not to stop writing, because I write just about every day, but I won't have any deadlines in 2024. Yeah, I have a deadline in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever December 15th is. And that's my last deadline for a while. And I'm really looking forward to just having a more leisurely pace, still writing, but not on a deadline for a few months until my next deadline. So that'll be good. But thank you all so much for being here, for showing up. And again, if you'd like to learn about future sprints that I will be having at some point in the future, probably not too far in the future, get on the notification list. I will email you about that. And I'll let you know when it's happening. And Laura's talking about my cat who likes to walk on the keyboard. Yes. He's trying to help. He's trying to type. My other cat, will sit in front of my manuscripts looking like he's reading them, not giving any really useful feedback. But, cats, what are you going to do? They're always judging you. They're always making you feel like you're not doing it right. Oh, and I have seen the first version of the cover for Daughter of the Merciful Deep, which is the book that I have coming out next June. And it is gorgeous. It's going through some changes and some tweaks. I will probably talk about them on the podcast this weekend. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Brutal Fortress is going really well. That's the third book in my trilogy. So those are the other 2 books I'm working on this month. And this one's going to come together. And when I figure out whether I'm self-publishing it or whether I'm going to submit it, I will probably be talking about that too. So that's another thing that's slowing me down, not knowing exactly what path this is going to go, because that, is this a standalone? Is this a series? If it's going to be traditional, I can't plan for any more than 2 books, on a contract. So how long of a story do I want to be telling? Do I want to leave it open-ended for either way? A lot of those things are in my mind right now, and which is hampering the creative process. It's not ideal. And this is the first book that I haven't known which way I want to go with it. You never know, especially with traditional publishing, whether anyone will pick it up or not. But I'm not 100% sure how I want to handle it. And I might not figure that out until the end, but it does, factor into decision-making about how long of a story this is, series-wise. Lots of factors, considerations. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, and I will hopefully see you again soon. I am planning some other workshop things. Oh, the revision course, I think that link should be in the description as well if you're not already on the notifications about that. And yeah, I've got plans, I've got ideas. I just need time to make them all reality when I'm not writing 3 books. But I hope that y'all have a good night or a good day wherever you are in the world. And I will see you soon. So good night. Happy writing. Thanks a lot for joining me. Take care.